Hey guys, welcome back to my workbench. Dan here, and we're looking back on the structures and kind of continuing off where we left off for the model railroad. We're still working on the industrial scene here, and unfortunately, I still don't have any material to do this structure. So I'm a little bummed, to say the least, because I was really hoping I could get this wrapped up, and I've been waiting weeks at this point for material. This latest person that I bought this new material off of, I've contacted them and they haven't sent me a tracking number, so I have no idea where the hell the material is. So it's kind of put me down a little bit lately because it's kind of tied up all my other projects to kind of work around this one, and I can't even work on it. So shipped a whole bunch of stuff off, worked on a bunch of cars. So I mean, this is just kind of the frustrating thing. It happens sometimes in the hobby. You try to get stuff and you can't get it. What I'm trying to get is V-groove siding to replicate the steel or aluminum paneling, the corrugated siding that they generally use on these kinds of industrial structures. That's what I'm waiting on. So I do not have any of those materials yet. Still waiting on it. Eventually when those come in, I'm going to hope to try to get all this done in a weekend, and we'll come back to it. But kind of continuing from where we left off, the only other thing I did do to this large structure is I started painting the base concrete structure of this building an appropriate concrete color, and I've been doing this by hand painting it with acrylic paint. And I've been choosing to do this with acrylic paint because I can kind of go in there and brush some texture on there, add some little areas where it looks a little bit more weathered. Of course, all this will get weathered up as we go on too. I'm not sure what to paint the back area here yet. It might be all blue, I'm not sure, but since this is going to be facing the edge of the model railroad. But anyways, I did the first layer there. I'm probably going to do one more coat of paint on this, and that'll get that taken care of. So what are we going to be able to work on right now? Well, unfortunately I can't go out there and really do anything else until that main structure is there. That way I can plan the road out and figure out where I want my plastic pellet silos, because we're going to have some plastic pellet silos for transloading. The only other thing that I recently got is this dust cyclone kit. I've wanted one of these for a little while. I got this on eBay for like 15 bucks. So not a big investment there, but I'm going to be building this kit today to go ahead and start off. And these are pretty good kits. They're relatively easy to build. They're super easy to detail up, weather and paint. Sometimes some of these will have a little bit of flashing on like some finer parts, but it's always easy to clean up. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this kit here. This is where I'm going to start off. We can at least get some of the base structures done. Going to have those out of the way and hopefully be able to come back later on, and we'll just be able to install these around the structure. So to take the lid off, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so here's the base kit. You can see it's a relatively large tank structure, and it's got a number of detailed parts. I will be making the supports slightly shorter to fit around my industrial area, so that is something I will modify, but just for now I'm just going to follow the basic kit instructions. As you can see there, I'll build this and I'll show you guys kind of some in-progress shots of me building this so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like. Well, so pretty super easy kit. The instructions are very basic. You can see there's really not much to actually put together here in terms of the structure. There probably is going to be a little bit of body work to do. This is the main tank structure. As you can see, I've glued it together, and there's a pretty obvious seam here. We're going to have to try to make that disappear because it's just going to be too obvious. I want to be able to cover that a little bit, so what I might do is take some super glue and I might run a bead all the way down that maybe and sand that, or I could use filler putty, but that's something I can take care of. So I'm going to basically be painting the tank body and its components blue, but the stands here, I'm going to be painting them in a safety yellow color. It's pretty typical. Now these are pretty tall, so I'm actually going to be cutting these down. I'm going to be cutting the short end off of these supports, and I'm only going to be using the tall stand sections for this. So I'll be pretty much be doing that, and then all the railings and other little components like that I'll paint yellow for this kit. So I got back from work and I had this idea before I do all this annoying sanding and body filling and everything like that on the main portion of the tank body. I had this idea. What if I took styrene sheet and I did some scribing on it, made it look like there were some weld seams, for example, and then took it and actually skinned the tank with the new siding. So it'd be something like this, where you can just wrap it and glue it. And this is something I've actually done before, and it works pretty well. It was just, like I said, an idea that popped in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this styrene sheet, which I've carefully cut to size, and I'm just going to measure out some little weld seams, for example, in particular 3 all the way down, and I'll just basically scribe them on there, and then I'm going to glue this styrene sheet to the tank itself. For the top portion, I am going to, well, what I'm thinking of doing anyways is chiseling this down a little bit, because it's a bit of a rough edge seam there. So I'm going to kind of sand that a little bit to even it out, and then I'll fill that seam with putty, and hopefully that'll hide that enough. But it's obviously a very ugly seam right now that we need to try to get rid of, so that'll be the next process. And then I'll just re-notch out the little slots for the support sections that I've put together. Here's the modified support, by the way. It's just a single brace section, and then you got a little bit of a stand there. So this will all go onto the tank like this. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So that's what we're looking at. It should work out real nice. And then of course I'll do some slight detailing, some custom painting. The tank body itself will be blue. This will probably be yellow, maybe. I might paint it yellow. I might paint it blue. Not really sure. I might go ahead and actually paint the whole thing blue, to be honest. That's a thinker. But we'll come back to that. I'll try to decide what I want to do there. And then there's obviously a number of other little detail parts that I'll have to add to this, but I'm going to try to paint those yellow to highlight them, just like they would in real life, and I'll just go from there. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and skin the tank with my styrene sheet, and I will show you what that looks like when that is done. Alright, here's the tank, and I finished modifying it. You can see I added the top portion here. There will be some piping running between this tank and the building, but we'll add that later. I added this little bit of piping running down the stem there. I added this little access panel here that has some electronics or something in it, I'm assuming. I saw some pictures of some of these that have this, and my idea here is this kit comes with a really nice little separate ladder and railing. These little pieces here. What I'm going to do is, after the tank is painted and I have everything completely set up, I'm going to glue this little piece like that, and then I'm going to have this little access ladder just like this leading up to it. So these little trim pieces are all going to be painted yellow. The tank will be a nice dark blue. It'll actually match the blue on the structure that I choose, and it should work out pretty well. So looking at the styrene side, this took quite a bit of work to get just right. You can see it's not perfect at the top there, but it still looks pretty good. I fixed most of the seam there. I just got to run a bead of super glue across that, do a little bit more sanding, and that should take care of that. But you can see the scribe line just a little bit to make it look like it's a two-part vessel that's been welded together. So that worked pretty well. The base is not glued in yet. It's just sitting there. But I will take it off for painting, and then I have the little downspout there. It's just a piece of tubular styrene which I glued in place. So what this is trying to show here is that even a basic kit like this can be enhanced and improved, and these offer so much potential for all kinds of detailing. You can add little grab irons to these, you could add a brand new little top with some custom photo etched railings, all kinds of different piping, you can have a little fence around this. There is just so many cool little details you could be doing to this, but I'm not going to get too crazy. I've done what I wanted to, and I stopped. So I'm ready for paint on this guy, so I will be setting it aside for now until I can get the primer, and then I'll paint all these little components, and then I'll show it to you guys later. And then of course we'll be able to enhance it with other little details. I'll have a little fence running along the area, I'll have some little bumper posts protecting it, just, you know, stuff like that. And then of course the tubular piping that'll be running between it and the actual structure. Alright, next part, roof details. And 3 days later from that last clip, still no styrene structural shape has come in. I have no idea why. I would imagine it's because we have all this snow moving across the country right now. It might have slowed down some of the shipments, I guess. I know a lot of other packages that I've ordered lately have been slow, but a little frustrating, but we have time off. I actually have a day off today because we got snowed in, so there's no work. And I want to be able to be productive with the time I have. So I've been working on a couple different things. I'm actually working on this car right now for a customer. Talk about that one later. Pretty funny. I got a couple gondolas finished up today, which is nice. And what I want to work on now structurally is going to be roof detail stuff. Sorry about that, guys. This is a pile of materials that I have from multiple other projects, and I've been pretty busy. So I got a cornerstone kit that I primarily am wanting to focus on, but it's all mixed in here. This stuff is roof details for structures. This was another kit I bought 2 years ago to work with on the model railroad. So I got all these little pieces here that I want to kind of pick out a little bit. I keep all my kit stuff in here. Like I got Rick's telephone poles, for example. I have these in here. I have not roof details, but relay cabinet detail parts that I'm going to set aside here. And eventually I really just need to organize all this out. This stuff here will be fun. I got Alchem Scale Models chain link fencing. This is a fantastic kit. This stuff is pretty pricey, but they have great material. Even better, they come with sewer and manhole covers. You got all kinds of really cool details here. You got gate details, all kinds of cool stuff. Super easy to install. And I got a ton of this material, so I got fencing. I got another sheet there, another sheet there, and it's all just one large photo etch tree. Now, this other kit I will be using as well. As you can see, this is like gate and fence detail for industrial structures. You can see you got hatches, you got photo etch walkways, you got stair ladders, steps, photo etch, and then you got these nice handrails, which I will be also using for my my structure when the time comes. So that's all nice, very nicely detailed photo etch kits by Alchem Scale Models. And there you can see the logo. And yep, go to their website if you're interested in any material like this. It is a little bit pricey, but it's really nice. So anyway, setting that aside, I got a couple other kits and then other stuff there. And here is where we need to go. So we got roof vents. I have HVAC units. These are going to be needed. I don't know what that is. It's for a house. Let's get that out of the way. And the other end of the kit there, some more HVAC stuff, so I'll need this. I got concrete barricades in here. I'll need those. So I got just a ton of different structural shapes and detail parts. So what I'm going to do is put together some of these for my roof, and I'm going to basically paint all of these silver, and I will show you guys what they look like when they're done. I'm not going to show you guys me putting them together because it's pretty laborious and time consuming. So I'm just going to work on these for a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you guys what all this looks like once I've selected the parts that I want and have put everything together. So okay, so excuse the crappy lighting here, but basically I got all the different components put together and I'm in the process of painting them now. So you can see I have everything primered. I have all of my HVAC units, I have roof vents, ladders, steps, everything like that I need for now, primed and ready to go. So I'm going to be painting all these different pieces silver, all these small components. Stuff like these railings, I'm going to paint these yellow. Same with this guy. And then the tank will be blue. The same blue that'll match the structure. So that's all being primed, and hopefully I'll get that done this weekend. So we're going to start moving back over to the main structure. Well, I'm finally back at the workbench to put together this structure. It's been now a month since I initially built the foundation, and I haven't been able to get very far with it. And my styrene finally came in that I ordered. I got all 3 sheets of it. One problem though, it's the wrong size. What the fuck? So I ordered, what is this? This is 0.030 inch by 0.20 inch. So they somehow botched that. I don't know how they did. It's pretty interesting. It's not even the same item number, so I don't know like what was going on there. I had to wait almost 2 weeks for them to ship this, And then I finally messaged them, was like, hey guys, what's going on? Oh, well, we finally shipped your item. And then I got a UPS tracking number, and it took 2 days to get here. If I had gotten this product, and maybe they turned around and shipped it that day, this is a Hobby Link center, by the way, so they should be able to just turn around and, I'd assume, ship the stuff. Well, it could have been here in 2 days. It took 2 weeks for them to ship this out. I don't know if they had to back order it or what. But I didn't even get the right fucking product. Like, what? So now I'm really pissed because the last batch of styrene I ordered that was also wrong. That cost me, I think, 35 bucks. This cost me about 35 bucks, that's including shipping, and it's not even the right goddamn shit. And I can't really use this. I've been trying to convince myself, can I make this work? Can I try to do this? I really need to finish this structure up. No, I just can't. I can't do anything with it. Here's the problem here, and I'll get the camera set up so you guys can see this. So here's the fine pattern of the material I have, and watch this. This is what I need. This is metal industrial siding. This is the dimensions I need. That's what it should look like. That's what I ordered. That's what I got. Paper thin, useless. So yeah, another real blunder there. So my problem now is I don't know who else to really order this shit from. I'm going to go on. I could go to a hobby shop and pick this up, but the one in Toledo is the closest, and they're closed for a week because they moved. And there's another hobby shop in Columbus. That's a 2-hour drive, and I think they only might have like 1 or 2 sheets because they barely stock styrene at this shop anymore because no one buys it. So it wouldn't be enough. What's the point? It's just a waste of time. But now my fear is if I turn around and go buy more of this crap, I'm going to have to wait for them to actually get the material, and then wait week after week for them to actually ship it. And I just don't know what to do. I can't use this. I just can't do anything with it. So I'm still going to hold on to it. I can maybe make some like fine structure shit with this maybe, but I can't use it for this project. So that's the frustrating aspect of this hobby. You got to pay attention. I let the hobby shop know that they sent me the wrong stuff. They realized their mistake. They did apologize and offered a refund. I'm not going to cut down the hobby shop, and I'm not going to call out their name, but it is a Hobby Link distribution place. I won't say where, but it's what it is. So back to trying to find this material. I'm going to order it. I'm going to ask that they confirm that it is the size, because I'm not doing this again. If they do this again, I'm just going to be like, screw it. I'm going to throw this thing out in the garage, and it's going to sit for another year because I'm done with dealing with this crap. So that's just the way it is. So all that's been very frustrating, but I have been able to get some stuff done, and I was able to do some painting. I got some new Tamiya silver, so I basically put together a couple roof vents here, some roof duct vents, these tall vents here, and I have the 4 HVAC units that are all finished up. And these aren't super insanely detailed, but they're detailed enough that once you put them on a structure, they'll look good. And after the silver plating, or painting, not plating, I think they turned out pretty good. A little bit of weathering, maybe some rust here and there, and I think these should work out pretty well. So these are all painted. I will be doing a little bit of weathering to these to wrap them up, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with those. The vents came out really good. Again, a little bit of grime and a little bit of rust here and there, and that should make these look nice and weathered in, because I'm trying to model a structure that's not necessarily new. It's a newer structure, maybe built in the 90s, but it has some older equipment on it, so, you know, a little bit of moderate rust here and there, just a little bit of light weathering, just kind of where I need it to be. So all these parts are painted, and in case you're wondering what the hell these things are sitting on, it's just a piece of styrene rod, just like what I was using for structural shape. Just with parts like this, it's easier if you can actually mount them to a piece like this. Just tack them on there with a little bit of plastic cement, and then if you're wearing a gloved hand, or if you're wearing a glove on your hand, I should say, sorry, I'm like really tired and it's like 3 in the morning here, but if you wear a glove and then hold it up like this, you can just blast the paint over it. Same thing with the airbrush. It makes it super easy to paint these little details, so there's a helpful little tip if you guys can use that. So yeah, anyways, that's all set aside there. And the dust cyclone here is all painted. I'm not 100% happy with the finish. A little weird, the paint buildup. It's tester's paint out of the spray can. It's always been kind of questionable results. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it works really bad. And in this case, it's kind of a mixture of both. It applied well, but it also left a speckled effect in certain spots. It's like I couldn't get the color to mix properly in the can or something. But anyways, the entire tower and the cyclone vent and everything like that is painted blue. So that's ready for weathering. So I'm going to try to weather this up tonight and hopefully work on that. So I'm going to try to tackle all this. And then this little piece here, this is going to be the end cage and then the walkway railing that leads up to that little access panel there. So I'm going to install these guys tonight as well. And again, little helpful trick you can use. I just propped these up with the little pieces of styrene that I glued to a sheet of styrene, and then I just basically could take my hand like this and then spray paint these parts with the yellow, and that ended up working out really well. And you can see everything painted super nice. I just used a light gloss yellow, kind of a satin finish, and that turned out perfect for those. So super happy with that. Alrighty though, I'll get back to you when I get all this weathered here, and I'll show you the results. Okay, so here's how everything turned out. I got all the units pretty much weathered. I just used oils and some powders to hit the tops of the fans up, but you can see, I'm just trying to be careful here because they are fresh, but you can see I just built it up there in the little corners, just naturally where that kind of rust is going to build up, those little crevices. Okay, and then this end here, you got a lot of rust again on those doors. Right at the top of the panel there, you got a lot of heavier rust, and then the darker grimy fins. Lots of rust there at the bottom, and lots of rust just at the base there, that little mounting pad. So those turned out awesome. Of course, I'll wait to install these on the roof once the roof is all done, because we're going to have a lot of work to do when we actually build that. I did remove the vents from that piece of styrene, so those are prepared to be further weathered later, but I'll wait until those are installed. And then on the cyclone, we're finally finished with it. It turned out pretty good. Everything came out really well. Did a nice whitewash, nice dusty whitewash down the side, and then I used a little bit of grimy powder to hit the top up there, make it look a little dirty, nice and dirty. And then I installed the walkway. I put those pieces together and glued those in place. The only thing I got to do up here is I got to weather that little walkway portion there and add a little bit of like a wash to that to actually give it some depth, because obviously it's not like a photo etch piece, it's just a molded piece. It looks like a giant yellow waffle. So we got to paint that and weather that, and then we'll just probably do a little bit of rust dry brushing on this, but I don't want to make it look too dirty. Just a little bit of a wash to just subdue it a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural and blend in with that. But yep, all that's just pretty much done, and they're ready to be installed where needed. There's one more kit that we got to do, and it's going to be the silos for the plastic pellets for this industry. I ordered the kit. I'm just waiting for that to come in. When that comes in, I'll put it together and go from there. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all we really got to do, and then we'll have to go in and actually start building our structure. But I'm pretty happy with all these little details. I think even though it was a little bit of work, it was worth it.